We're going to get right to it, guys. Part 1 of the one-on-one for Sister Wives, season 18 aired last night. And I'm going to give you the 4 most shocking moments going from 4 to 1. But first, I need to apologize to all of you. We may need a new host. I know, I'm a shady beach. But, I mean, even that, okay. First of all, here's my initial collective thoughts, and then we'll get into actually what was the most shocking and relevant moments of the one-on-one. Number 1, how many Rolex watches does Cody own? Okay, does the Codemeister own? Last night, gorgeous. Looked like a beautiful Rolex watch, blue band. Unbelievable. I believe throughout the season, especially the first time we saw that Cody and Robin wore matching horse rings, maybe it was like episode 9. He also had on a gorgeous Rolex watch, silver and gold. This man, okay. I don't know if it's the cameos, the 18th season, the gun shows, whatever it is, this man is doing okay. So there was that. The other thing was, at first, I thought to myself, do they not have a hair and makeup crew? You know, we see the opening scene of the one-on-one is all of them arriving to the one-on-one, okay? But they're like blow drying their hair. Robin is doing her mascara. At first, I was like, oh, snap. Like, they're not even getting glam. This is such a departure from the Housewives. But they did get there, and they did get glammed up to some degree. It's not that type of franchise. The TLC shows are much more of the production companies are a fly on the wall to people's lives. They don't like makeup, it's not like hair, makeup. I mean, if the participants of like 90 Day Fiance or 1,000-Pound Sisters want to get plastic surgery or lose weight, that's like on them. But that's not really the MO here, for TLC. So we see all the women, and even why didn't Cody and Robin ride to the one-on-one together? We see him in his new Lexus sports car, the 2-door drop top. He's rolling in, talking about what he's thinking about, if he's nervous, which he says he doesn't get nervous until he gets there to the studio. Anyway, those were some of my initial thoughts, but they did have glam. Suki was the returning host, and it's not that Suki is a bad host necessarily. It's just that there's not even a what I enjoy about the Housewives is when they come to the reunions, there's a bit of a dropping of the fourth wall, meaning the fourth wall is representing the camera's production, behind the scenes. There's a bit of how was your year? What's been going on? If there's something in the headlines, like Christine being married, we know this one-on-one was taped before Christine even got married because she refers to him as her fiance in the one-on-one. Not only that, but Janelle's lost a tremendous amount of weight since this one-on-one was filmed. So they wrapped filming maybe a year ago. Maybe this was filmed a year ago, 8 months ago. A general frustration. So I wish there was some connection back to real time, which, is not Suki's fault, but the questions are softball. They are, again, I've said this before because I've been a host and I've been on, I contribute for Lifetime's Married at First Sight, some of their shows, their after party show. I've been a guest, and they have their kickoff show. So lots of times there's things that you can't ask by production or even the talent. So I can never blame Suki, but there does seem to be a lack of connection maybe between Suki and the Sister Wives. I don't know if she doesn't speak to them much throughout the year. There just doesn't seem to be a bond there to ask a deeper kind of off the beaten path question that we all want to know. Okay. For example, Robin, it never looks like you are really shedding a tear. So Sobbin, are you sobbing or are you not sobbing? Okay. Why? What do you say to the fact that America calls you Sobbin Robin? Okay. Cody, let's talk about all the things. Let's make you accountable. Let's go through a list. Let's roll the tape of all the times you did not participate when the women needed help with the kids at their homes, whatever. The other thing I feel about these one-on-ones is I don't know what the excuse is at this point to not have them in the room. I don't. Now, I know they all can't stand each other. In real time, I talked about the big interview that Janelle and Christine did with Entertainment Tonight last week. I did a whole breakdown and debrief, why some people saw red flags in that. If you want to hear that, just go back. It aired last Wednesday. Let me get you the exact date, right before the 22nd, November 22nd, right before the Thanksgiving holiday. So I broke that down. Some people had red flags in that because it was done in real time, and it talks about more about David and Cody's relationship and Christine, and how Christine and David met, yada, yada, yada. Anyway, if you want to hear that, go back and hear it. But, we don't get any back questions. We don't get the questions that we really want to know about. All right. Christine, I want someone to ask Christine point blank, do you think if you were removed from Janelle's life, Janelle would still be with Cody? Because there's a part of me that believes that. Christine, and I thought that was one of the surprising moments on the one-on-one last night, was Christine is happy to see him jealous, Cody jealous. I think Christine still has a little bit of a thing for Cody. I do. Sorry. But I think there is a part of Christine that loves having Janelle. Janelle is like a bit of a pawn. They have like 18 kids. I think that's regardless. It's like Christine is the pawn. She's a chess piece. But ask Christine point blank. Do you think if you backed off that Janelle would have a relationship with Cody? Because she sure seems like she wants to. She really still has her hooks in there. Mary, are you a lesbian? I need to know. Rolls up to that one-on-one. She gets in her big 4x4. I mean, Queen is giving me Lady Pond energy too. Would you be down with getting down with a gal? It's 2023, honey. We ain't holding anything back. So I do want to see those questions. I agree with everyone. And I do agree. There's no reason that these guys cannot all be in the same room. I know they're all not speaking. Janelle and Christine do not speak to Mary, Robin, Cody. They have nothing to do with them. They don't want anything to do with them. But you are contractually a part of this show. Wouldn't it be helpful to have them all in the room, at least for one scene? Wouldn't that be explosive? Isn't that what we want to see? Y'all have been married for 30 years. You can't do it for 2 hours? We're getting multiple parts of the one-on-one. Last night was part 1. We're going to have a part 2 and part 3. This is going to take us almost to Christmas, and then we will close out season 18. If you are concerned that you're not going to get a season 19 of Sister Wives, oh, do not worry, my friends. It's already filmed. It's being filmed. We're getting a 19. We're getting a 20. We're getting a 21. And are we getting a Janelle Christine spinoff? They say they'd love it, but so far nothing has been confirmed. So we will see. Robin's contradictions go on and on. Last night, Robin was asked by Suki if she would get together with all the women. She said yes, she would feel safe getting together with them. Then people were like, well, wait a minute, Suki, why didn't you roll the footage from when Mary wanted to have a Christmas get together with everybody? Robin said she wouldn't feel safe. Or the text message with all the kids that fell and broke apart because Robin felt they were picking on her or they weren't, including Robin. Like, let's get to more of that. One of the big internet questions people had is, do we feel that Cody and Robin rehearsed for this one-on-one? I think they rehearsed for the whole thing to some degree. I mean, Cody is like a Shakespearean actor to me. I mean, like, not like in a great Shakespearean play, but, like in one. I think some of it is rehearsed. I think they definitely kind of know ahead of time. A lot of people are saying, Cody revealing that he never loved Mary, Janelle, or Christine after meeting Robin. People are saying, of course he would say that because he's going to protect his own ego. That being an egomaniac like he is, he would never just admit to his own faults in the marriages, and that things could have carried on. So anyhow, that was like my overall collective thoughts of the one-on-one last night. The one-on-one did not feature David yet. It didn't get into Mary's sort of threat that she will not be quiet anymore. So nobody knows that's fully alluding to, but we'll get there. It really addressed the demise of his marriages, his true love for Robin and really kind of, I think almost like where Janelle stands with him and is there a possibility of reconciling? So here are the my most shocking moments of last night, part one of the one-on-one. Number 4, Cody wanted Janelle to come back early from a vacation to basically go to CVS and get him medication for his COVID. So Janelle and Christine were on a vacation together. The Codemeister in the past year and a half contracts COVID, was very ill, calls Janelle, wants Janelle to come back to basically gather him some items and drop him off at the house. That was Christine's story. Cody's story is he wanted her to come back. She wouldn't. He felt betrayed. He was hurt. She has no empathy for him. Janelle's side of the story was he said, he called her. He was very ill. She was concerned. She contemplated for quite a while about coming back. But then he said, sweetie, don't come back. You can't come see me. There's nothing you can do. Essentially stay on the vacation. Whew. Now, if this ain't proof of telephone, the telephone game where you tell one person in the circle and by the time it gets to the end, it's a whole thing of misinformation. Yeah. Okay. I mean, can anyone decipher what in the what is going on there? All I can decipher is I think there was part of Cody who did want Janelle to come back and run to CVS for him. But I found that moment shocking for 2 reasons. One, I think Cody would definitely ask her to do that. 2, Christine's the one that said she stepped in and said to Janelle, are you bananas? You can't even see him. He has COVID. Why would you go back, stay here on your vacation and enjoy yourself? I do believe that 2 things can be true about Christine. I think Christine is far and away the most happy individual from the Sister Wives group. I think she's the most well-adapted, well-adjusted with her children, with the whole situation. I think she's above and beyond it in so many ways. But I do think, like all of us, there's a part of her that enjoys getting back at Cody. I think that still has a little resentment and anger towards Cody that he wasn't in love with her the way that he was in love with Robin, which she said last night. And, I think she enjoys making Cody jealous with her relationship with Janelle. And I do think that Janelle may, in fact, still be with Cody if Christine wasn't in the mix. Number 3, Christine's revelation of the moment that she knew that Cody was absolutely madly in love with Robin and the sweet revenge she now feels by essentially making Cody jealous of her relationship with Janelle. A lot to unpack in number 3. So one of the interesting moments, now I know Christine has said this before on camera on the Sister Wives seasons, so it wasn't so shocking. It wasn't like the biggest revelation of last night. But Christine did say she knew the moment that Cody was madly in love with Robin was when they were first early dating and he was staying with Christine and he was getting ready to go see Robin. I mean, really, when you think about these things, aren't they so fucked up? It's yeah, the human condition, human nature, we are jealous. Monogamy never works. And I'll tell you, I've interviewed open marriage people over the years on this relationship, on this podcast, and it never fucking works. They all fool themselves. And it works for a while. Then you reach out to them 3 years later and you're like, hey, what's going on? Oh, we broke up, or, oh, we're monogamous. Humans are meant to be monogamous. Sorry. So anyway, Christine says Cody was at the foot of her bed. He was fussing over what to wear and he was so nervous. And she said, wow, you're really, you're really kind of looking forward to this date or whatever. And he was like, yeah. And she's like, you're in love with her, aren't you? And he's like, yeah, I am. And that was the moment for Christine that it was all over. She knew that he was madly in love with Robin. It changed everything. I think that was 15 years ago. I'm not sure why it took her so long to stay, but that's all of us, right? We all look back in hindsight and go, oh, we should have left that relationship years ago. But I also think that combined with that moment, Suki kind of asks her so you're saying Cody is jealous of your relationship with Janelle. And she says, yeah, isn't it great that he's getting a taste of his own medicine? These aren't direct quotes. Okay. It was last night. I went to bed. I forgot exact quotes. Okay. Gives you an idea. So she's like, yeah, I enjoy the fact, like, isn't it great that he gets a taste of his own medicine? Now he knows what it's like. We, for years, were jealous, upset, betrayed, felt hurt because of how much he loved Robin and all the grace that Robin was given and we weren't. And now he gets to experience it with Janelle. She likes it. Christine loves to just twist the knife just a little bit. I'm not judging. I'm just saying that's the whole scenario. Number 2, most shocking moment of the one-on-one part 1 last night was Cody saying that Janelle uses him like a piece of meat. We must never get rid of this man. Never. He's such great television. Literally, as the one-on-one was winding down, he goes, you know what? I want to clarify something, Suki, about this season that was really not fully fleshed out. And she goes, okay, what is it? And he goes, Janelle used me like a piece of me. I feel used. I am, it is true about my pecs, my 6-pack ad. There was sexual attraction there. And she just wanted the goods. Suki's like that's the problem with Suki. She doesn't have any real reaction. It's like, girl, what? Like, you're sitting across from this man. Now, he did look better last night, I thought, with the tan. Like, I thought he kind of looked attractive last night. So, but I mean, he really believes that Janelle all these years has used him as just, a sex toy. And it's like, dude, come on. You don't have multiple kids with someone just like, well, actually you do, but I don't think Janelle doesn't give me the vibe of using him as a piece of meat. That was like comedic. It was just such a comedic moment. And the number 1 most shocking moment of the one-on-one last night, which I thought was, again, 2 things can be true. I thought was deeply telling of how in love they are, but also very sad for the other women, is Cody confessing that he wept for months on and off after meeting Robin. He was so in love. And also his big revelation last night that he was never in love with any of the women ever, that he married them. His version, he tried to make it work. Some of their love, like with Janelle, grew over time. But he basically looped, Janelle in there with it not, him never being in love. Now, here's the thing, like, people went bananas with that, like how fucking insulting for all his kids watching, how insulting to the women. This is about his ego. He would never admit that just, although I guess to me, he really did admit, right? I mean, he didn't, his fault is not owning the fact that like a year or 2 after meeting Robin and knowing how in love he was, that he didn't just tell the other women, like he didn't just let the other women go, right? It was like a decade plus later. But I mean, to Christine's point, and Christine has said this in the recent interview that I talked about last week, Christine has said, I understand him now much better, because I feel like with David, I never want to be away from David. I want to be with my husband all the time. And that's what love, when you find out you're madly in love with someone, you want to be with them all the time. So Christine had a better understanding of it. And to Cody's argument, I think Cody, if you've never been in love with someone and then you are in love with somebody all of a sudden, you then realize like you get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure for him, until like BR, before Robin, he probably thought he was in love to some degree with these women. But then after Robin, AR, he was like, oh, hell no. Robin, it's like a whole nother level. I think that's what he was trying to say. And that is something that I feel like I can appreciate, the weeping for joy. I mean, I guess I can see him sobbing together. So I can also see that. But him saying that he was never in love with the women, is that honest or is it cruel? I kind of think there's a level of honesty with that. I agree. The frustrating part about Cody, which also makes him very funny and interesting to watch on TV, is he does never admit fault. The only time I have really heard him be vulnerable and admit fault, which again, I think is, we go back to like, do we need a new host or is the hosting bad? I do think that is like a place where press him on, dude, what is your fault? Like, tell us, take accountability. What is your accountability in this? The Mormon interview he did with the Mormon podcast, which is on YouTube. You just Google Cody Brown Mormon, because I don't remember the title of the Mormon YouTube show. He actually talks about now he doesn't believe in polygamy, how awful the show was to his marriage, all these things. But, I didn't find that as like people thought that moment where he admitted that he wasn't ever in love with them. I didn't find it all that shocking because these women have known that for a long time. Like that isn't news to them. The weeping over Robin, that might be news. But like Christine said, she knew that second. Definitely we got to push Sabin more. Don't you want to know? Like, I really would love to get, and maybe you just can't. Maybe Robin is not open at all, but you'd love to crack that nut, because she really does come off as trying to loop herself in with Mary and Janelle and Christine. On camera, she really tries to say, Cody treats me exactly like he treats them. I didn't know he was weeping. I didn't know he was that in love with me. He was like, she totally plays surprised. So is she at all like, is she telling the truth or is she playing the victim? Most of you guys think she plays the victim. I always think life is very nuanced. People act certain ways at different times. They have different revelations about one another. Maybe Cody loves a victim. Maybe that's like how Robin feels fulfilled. I don't know. Robin came from an abusive relationship with her first husband, was playing the victim, like her safety in that. I mean, there's like lots of to unpack, which to your point, to all of y'all's point, like that's what you want to get to that's where Andy Cohen was hosting this. He would have ate. I mean, he would have. That's what's so amazing about Andy. And, it's time for like more because lots of times in these shows, if you notice with Andy Cohen on Watch What Happens Live or The Reunion, the tough questions, they always go, Sarah from Los Angeles wants to know, Robin, are you really sobbing? Like, I'm sure some of the questions are real. Some of them are made by production and they just go, oh, Luann from Palm Springs was, so then it doesn't make the host look like an asshole. It makes Luann from Imaginary Land like look like an asshole. They got to start interacting with those questions. Like we got to get it. And we got to get them back in the room together. Which they do end up filming in season 19, spoiler alert, because there is Gwen's wedding that they all go to. So they are all in the room interacting. But anyhow, so that's part 1 of the one-on-one. Next week is part 2. I believe we do get a part 3. So we are going to get more Sister Wives over the next couple of weeks. Tons of engagement online on my TikTok at The Sarah Fraser Show. On my Instagram is popping off as well as a discussion place. And we have a Reddit. You want to start a topic on my Reddit, if you want to find out more of podcasts that I've done around Sister Wives and other topics, reddit.com/r/The Sarah Fraser Show, everywhere you can find it. And lastly, today, I also have an exclusive interview. If you watch TLC's The Family Chantel Everett, she's one of my dream interviews. She and anybody from Sister Wives is on the show today. And Chantel reveals, did she go on a date with Drake? What about Waka Flocka Flame? Are she and Waka Flocka, the rapper, seeing each other? And basically what she thinks about all the famous men that have slid in her DMs. She gets into that. Are they going to stay on television? And she says she has hardcore proof that Pedro cheated on her, which she reveals on the show today. So you do not want to miss that podcast episode that is up right now. All right. Bye, everybody.